Hello, my name is Amanda Castro, and this is your TED Talk on What Do You Care What People Think by Richard Feynman. This book is overall a collection of several experiences Mr. Feynman goes through in his life. Unfortunately, it is the last book that he wrote due to his death caused by cancer. The part of the book that I remember most vividly is among the beginning chapters, entitled after the book, What Do You Care What People Think? It is between the pages of about 20 to 50. This chapter describes the relationship between Mr. Feynman and his first wife, Arlene. He illustrates it from the beginning to where he saw Arlene as this beautiful lady that is in the popular crowd and very unapproachable, to the end, which was her death caused by tuberculosis. This chapter really gives you a first-hand look of an emotional experience Mr. Feynman went through. It makes you feel as if Mr. Feynman's right next to you telling you the story. That's how personal it is. This book encompasses, of course, many themes, just like any other book. Among those themes are humor, and towards the end of the book, scientific and philosophical. But the theme that really affects the chapter that I remember most is phenomenons of the physical world. As a physicist, Mr. Feynman realized that his life is mostly occupied by seeking reason to several physical phenomenons, and he soon comes to terms with the idea of philosophical questions that cannot be answered, which mostly regard life and death. And Arlene's sickness really made him think about this. And actually, within the chapter, I'm paraphrasing, he states several questions that go without answers, which consist of, why has God taken my wife? Why is there death in the world? Why do people die? But of course, no one can answer those questions. And Mr. Feynman really comes to peace with those questions and just realizes, you know what, it's better to just leave it alone, because why am I going to go and strive to find an answer when there is no answer? And that is quite out of character for Mr. Feynman, but, it's reality. This chapter also brings in a tragic tone to the book itself, which is pretty much only seen within the chapter. It is very relatable, for myself at least, because each relationship that we have in reality today, whether it's a family member or a loved one, it encompasses a lesson. And I truly believe in that we learn lessons as we go in life, and at times it's not apparent what the lessons are, but later on it does become revealed, whether it's through a tragic experience or a joyful one. For example, Mr. Feynman learns that love's irreducible mystery cannot be solved, and he also learns how to deal with death itself. He doesn't let it stop him, as all of us shouldn't. Just because there is a death of a loved one or a family member doesn't mean that we should stop living, because then what are we doing to our lives? A life is given to us to live it, to go through experiences, to go through emotions, to learn, to accomplish things, not to sit back and grieve through our whole life. Of course, there is a grieving period that everyone goes through, which is normal through human experiences. But overall, death is seen as a scary thing. And for some it marks the end. But really it kind of marks the beginning. Not for, of course, the deceased, but for ourselves. Death is pretty much discouraged in conversation in society today. As we live our lives, we see that death is an inevitable part of life. And as we live and experience death around us, it should cause us to open our eyes and to reflect upon ourselves, what we have accomplished, what we have learned, and how we take each experience and use it as a tool to better ourselves in society. We have to consider how important and influential the relationships we have today are. We must cherish them and embrace the ups and downs, because everything does happen for a reason. In the end, human life is a gift, and Mr. Feynman takes the challenge of embracing that gift. Thank you.